So today is Saturday, June 18th, and these are my comic pickups this week. So I thought it was going to be a light week for me this week, and I was informed that it was an even lighter week than I thought it was going to be. I guess Marvel had some delays this week that I won't get till next week, but I'll show you what I got this week. How many times can I say this week? This week. All right, here we go. Starting out is a series called Radiant Black. Now, this is written by a writer named Kyle Higgins, and anybody who might know his work from the Ultraman series or Power Rangers will definitely be a fan of his. I am of the opinion that this book is based off of maybe an unused Power Rangers storyline that he didn't get to use during his tenure there, because he did write some of the best Power Rangers storylines ever. And so once he was off that book, I don't know if he left to go do this book, but it was definitely a worthy successor to his run on Power Rangers. This is an individual comes across this cosmic power called the Radiant. And so you've got Radiant Black, you've got Radiant Red is a different character, Rogue Sun is another one, but this character itself started off its own kind of like universe of characters, and I am into it. This is a fun superhero, not quite superhero team, but sometimes a team book. And if you haven't checked it out, this is a great one to start from the beginning, because otherwise you're not going to get a whole lot. This is issue 15, but they're collected in a couple volumes now, and I really strongly recommend this book. Not just because I'm a fan of Kyle Higgins, but because this is just a fun substitute if you're not into the new Power Rangers comic series. So a big buzzword for Marvel nowadays is the multiverse. And it kind of started beforehand with the Spider-Verse. It's all about multiple universes now. And Spider-Verse movie did an amazing job at it, and I'm really looking forward to the second one. And that being said, though, I'm not a huge Spider-Man fan. I don't collect Sensational Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man or whatever umpteen different Spider-Man series are out there. But this one in particular, I did have to grab. This is issue 2 of Spider-Punk, alternate reality, punk rock and roll Spider-Man. Look at the spikes on his head, right? Over here. Look at those spikes on his head. And this one features Taskmaster. And I love this so much. They made Taskmaster look like one of the Misfits, okay? Look at the devil, what do they call it? The devil's lock on his hair. I love that so incredibly much. So this has been a fun series, a punk rock Spider-Man facing punk rock villains. It's so well crafted. And if you're not a fan of Spider-Man, I still recommend picking this book up. It is so much fun. Now, if you guys have been watching our live streams on Monday night, this past Monday we did an unboxing of a comic mystery box. And one of the books in there was an X-Men book called House of 92. And that I mentioned I had been collecting the series, even though it just started. I didn't have that particular cover. But issue 2 is out now, House of 92. So the X-Men series are going through this whole house of this, house of that storyline, representing different aspects of the X-Men. And House of 92 is a representation of what I think almost everybody considers the most iconic X-Men besides the original 1962 team. 62, 92, 2022, 30 years apart. This House of 92 it seems to be the well that a lot of current writers are going back to, because it harkens back to the, I don't know, best age of the X-Men, if you will. But it's crazy to think about that, right? 92 was 30 years ago. House of 92 was 30 years after the inception of the original X-Men. It's almost in 30-year intervals. And to be real with you, the new X-Men series, I have the first couple issues of, I think, X-Men Red. It brought me back to it. It made me consider going back to the X-Men. You know, if you're not into the current X-Men, you have no idea what's going on, it's okay, because House of 92 will definitely harken back to those days that I think most of us recognize, probably from the animated series cartoon, if anything. But definitely, it's only issue 2. Still picking up on what is happening in this storyline, or revolves around Jubilee coming back or going to the future now, 30 years in the future, which is 2022 now. So storyline's just kind of getting started. I haven't read issue 2 yet, but it's just fun to see these characters up in Atom, alive again, whatever. Anyway, I recommend this one. You know, this character is always good to bring up during Pride Month because not a lot of people really recognize the fact that Star Wars has openly queer, openly gay characters within their universe. And this character has been one of my favorites since its very inception. And it helped that it had an amazing storyline at the beginning. But Dr. Aphra, that's Chelly Aphra right there. She is what I always describe as a female of the 2 best Harrison Ford characters, a mix of Han Solo and Indiana Jones. She's a scoundrel, but yet she's also an archaeologist. She's Dr. Aphra, just like Dr. Jones, but she's a scoundrel because she will screw you over. But such a fun character. The story, this is the 2nd series now since Dr. Aphra was introduced. She was introduced in the first Darth Vader series that Marvel started writing, and this is a character that I've stuck with throughout the past 5 years or so. I think 5 years deep is where we're at now, and I highly recommend that if you want to start reading this book, go back to the beginning. It might seem like a daunting task, but I feel like that is the very best storyline that has ever been written for the Dr. Aphra series. And it might just be because it's the one that I've read the most. But I've read it the most because I think it's the best. And it introduces characters that are just insane. And it's where you start seeing Black Chrysanthemum for the first time. That Wookiee we talked about last time. That is in the new Boba Fett series. This series is a must. If you're a Star Wars fan, this is a must. If you don't get enough Han Solo in your life, this is a must. If you want to see more Indiana Jones exploration, this is a must. Look it up online. Once again, most of the series is collected in trade paperback form, easy to grab, easy to read. And since we're going to stick with Star Wars, let's talk about Halcyon Legacy. Now, this is another tie-in to a Disney Parks property. Not that long ago, they did the Galaxy's Edge mini-series, which is obviously about Galaxy's Edge at Hollywood Studios or at Disneyland as well. They've done a couple different ones, but Halcyon Legacy refers to the Halcyon Star Cruiser, which is the new, from what I understand, failing hotel at Hollywood Studios. Storyline is fun and includes characters that you actually see in the hotel, engage during the storyline, during your stay at the hotel. It does include characters in this book. I was into it until they had to start including like legacy characters, like Padme and Anakin here. I was okay having it be set in its own little section of the Star Wars universe, not having to wedge in well-known characters, but here we are. And it's fun. It helps give me an idea of what to expect at that hotel without actually having to visit the hotel itself. But not bad. It's a good tie-in. I'm not going to say I highly recommend this one, but it's been a fun read. And lastly is one that is a filler. It's an issue that I missed of a mini-series that I've been collecting. And that's Army of Darkness 1979. It harkens back to that original Evil Dead storyline back in the day. I mean, if you know Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, then this is definitely for you. Got Ash Williams here. Bruce Campbell has always been the mainstay throughout all of these series. This is like one of like over a dozen Army of Darkness series is out there. Mini series is you've got a long-term series. There's a number of them out there, but I was collecting this particular 1979 series. And this was a filler that I had to grab since my collection was a little light this week, like I said. And so that's all that I have for you guys this week. If you have any questions about anything that I showed you guys, or if you need any recommendations based off of, like if you're like, hey, I'm interested in that thing you showed me, is there anything kind of similar as well? Hit me up. I'm always happy to talk about comics and engage about this sort of stuff. And next week, hopefully I will have a bigger pile for you guys and have a little bit more to say about it. But in the meantime, thanks for hanging out with me today, and I really appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. We'll see you Monday night at least, I guess. All right, I'll see you then. Bye.